Alright YouTube, back in here for another one. Welcome back to the channel. And I want to talk a little old gen for this video. Just a quick video. I just want to get a couple of thoughts out on the YouTubes, on the interwebs. Because we're hearing from a lot of credible people, Black Ops 6, it looks like it's coming to old gen consoles. Now for me personally, I think it's a mistake. You guys know where I stand on this if you've been around the channel for a while. I think these games going forward need to ditch last gen. I think last gen is holding a lot of these games back. But I've seen some numbers from PlayStation. I'm not looking at it right now, but I've seen some numbers from PlayStation just recently, like, I don't know, 3 days ago. And almost half of PlayStation's player base is still on PS4. So it's a business decision. They're catering to a huge percentage of their potential customers. So I get that. But I think that's also why we see a lot of the problems we do with these newer Call of Duties. Like every time they drop an update, dude, every single time they drop an update, they break these new Call of Duties more. And I think there's a bunch of reasons for that. Laziness, greediness, incompetence. But I also think it's just too many wheels turning, man. There's too many things they gotta tune and tweak and patch for all these different consoles, man. And it's just running on this engine. It's damn near impossible to keep up at the same time as the other things I just mentioned. Now, with that said, I think in the case of XDefiant, not having this game on old gen is a huge mistake. A lot of you guys, I get tons of comments constantly about how sweaty this game is. Dude, it feels like skill-based matchmaking. It's so sweaty. Like I've said 100 times at this point, yeah, it's on the sweaty side. I've seen enough variety and skill there. I don't think skill-based matchmaking is in the game, but I hear what you guys are saying. And there's problems here. If they're not addressed, it will chase people off the game. And I will be one of those people that just won't want to deal with it anymore. The netcode, the hit detection, the bunny hopping is an epidemic in this game right now. And people are just going to get annoyed of seeing it. And they're just going to put the game down and never think about it again. There's problems here with this game that need to be addressed if it wants to last. Adding skill-based matchmaking to protect those weaker players is not the answer. The answer is to adjust some things, some patches, some tweaks, and for these players to give the game more time and get better. But with that said, there's a ton of people right now still on old gen consoles. They don't have the money to upgrade, and these are casual players who definitely would be playing XDefiant because it's free to play if it was available to them. I'm not here to judge. Listen, I get it. Everybody falls on hard times. Everybody's situation is different. Y'all out here shitting on people because they don't have a new gen console. Y'all need to knock that shit off, man. Everybody's situation is different. Listen, years ago, many years ago, I was in a financial hole for years, dude. I was scraping by. It did not matter how much overtime I worked. I picked up a second job, and it was it was rough, man. When I say I was on hard times for years, I mean I was on hard times for years, all because of my ex-fiance. Had nothing to do with anything I did. She put me in the hole. It took me years to get out of it. Everybody's situation is different. Just because you can afford the console, it doesn't mean they're less of a person or whatever the fuck, man. You guys need to can that shit, man. That's garbage. You're just hating for the sake of hating. But I'm not seeing anything here advanced. Like, yeah, I think old gen is holding back some of these games. We see other games out here though that are better looking than XDefiant, have way more content than XDefiant. They run better than XDefiant on old gen consoles. I'm not seeing any graphical advancements with XDefiant. There's not a whole lot of content here. Like, I don't think old gen would hold this particular game back. Like, I do think old gen is holding back gaming in general at this point. Like, we've had PS5 and Xbox Series S and X's for a while now. I do think they need to focus on the new gen consoles, but in the case of XDefiant, I don't think old gen would hold it back. We still have a bunch of problems on new gen. The game doesn't look great. Like, honestly, it looks like maybe not a mobile game like some are trying to say out here, but something like we would have seen early on in the early days of PS4 and Xbox One, or even something we would have seen on 360 or PS3. Like, there's not much visual fidelity there, and there's not much content here, man. Just because I'm pointing this out does not mean I'm complaining. There's people out here trying to compare a free-to-play game straight up to a full-price AAA. I think that shit is hilarious, man. It's just the reality of the situation, though. People are going to get on this game. There's not much content there, bro. You got your few modes. You got your few maps. Like, I haven't seen all these other maps we were supposed to have with the preseason for XDefiant. There's really not much content there in the game at the moment. All these maps you're seeing in the game now, we saw these maps over a year ago with the first betas and alphas. So in the case of a lot of these other games, yes, I think old gen needs to be forgotten about. But in the case of XDefiant, I think it would only help the game, especially a game that has no skill-based matchmaking. Its main draw at this point is you get an arcadey game that has no skill-based matchmaking. Having XDefiant on old gen is only going to help the rest of us, man. It's going to balance out these lobbies with a lot more casuals, making it feel more like OG Call of Duty. At the end of the day, I just want XDefiant to be the best version of the game it can be, and I want Call of Duty to be the best that it can be. I sound like some fucking slogan for the army or some shit, but anyways, man, I just want these games to be as great as it possibly can. That's all I want to see, man. I want to see some healthy competition out here. It's better for us as customers. But that's all I got for this one. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.